Okay, Alex, seems like you're having problems getting your car PC going, so I was trying to do screenshots for you, and then I realized if I wanted to show you something from the BIOS menu, that wasn't going to happen because you can't screenshot that. So this is the easiest way to me to do it. I took the liberty to install my big monitor, keyboard and mouse in the car so you can see what I'm doing more clearly, because the little screen, like I said before, you just can't read anything on that screen. And the computer is back here. It's not mounted. I just got it velcroed down. Of course, being dark in here, this doesn't help. This is auxiliary battery that I'm gonna be running off of it because I already killed the car battery once. I ain't doing that again. That wasn't fun. And basically just same setup you got. I'm not sure if you have those antennas sticking up like I do, or if you can even see them. Woohoo! Take two, this time with light. Anyway, as I was saying, auxiliary battery. That's not hooked up to anything but the computer. The computer itself, which I just have velcroed to the floor so I can just move it anytime I want to. Pay attention to that cute little black box right there. That's a power noise filter. I had to use it because no matter what I did with the grounding, I still had a slight hum in the system. You may not have that problem, but if you do, after we get the system running, that is, you'll probably have to get one of these guys. They're only 20 bucks. I got this one from Crutchfield, but you can get them cheaper than that. But anyway, it helped out a lot because no matter, like I said, what I did with the ground wire, I still got a slight hum in the system, which drove me nuts. Anyway, connections is, as I told you before, your RCA video goes right into the yellow RCA jack. I got some connections back here that you probably would not have. I have a mouse and a monitor hooked up, the mouse and the keyboard hooked up right now, but normally I do not have these in here. Now, I think what's going on with your system is in the BIOS menu, there's a setting that says halt on failures. It's probably set to halt on all failures or any failures, and that's why your system will not boot all the way up. Because if there's no keyboard or mouse plugged into the PS2 ports, and when it starts the BIOS menu, it detects that and it's going to stop. It's not even going to let Windows start up. So that's why you still hear that high-pitched hum. You're going to hear that hum anyway when it's first starting up. For something to do with the sound card drivers loading in. Once they load in, it goes away. But while it's starting up, you hear a high-pitched hum. If you don't have a mouse or a keyboard set up, and that BIOS menu is set to halt on all errors, then it will not boot up. So I think that's what your problem is, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Anyway, let's go around to the side, take a seat, and you're ready to do some damage here. First thing we're going to do is, once I power on, I'm going to very quickly get over to the front side. And to get into the BIOS menus for this particular motherboard, you're going to hit the delete button. You have to watch it. It goes pretty fast. So you probably won't see me be able to do that because I have to move quickly here. But you will hit the delete button and that'll take you straight into the BIOS menu. I'm going to try to set this up so you can see the computer boot up. But I'm in a car, so bear with me. Like I said, once I start it up, we're going to hit the delete button to get into the BIOS menu. I'm going to show you how to change that halt on everything system problem. And Igor, she's alive. My monitor might not pick up right away, so I'm going to just go ahead and hit this delete button, because I know that's how you get into the BIOS. Hit delete to enter setup. I'm hitting it. I have the front monitor hooked up, but I am not running it because I'm in the garage. I don't have the car running. So, make sure you don't want me to kill myself trying to show you how to do this. Now, standard CMOS features. I think that's where it is. Yes, it is. So let me go back so you can see what I did. Very first thing, standard CMOS features. That's where your error is. Well, it's not really an error, but that's where your problem probably is lying. So you want to highlight that and hit enter. This very next page, 1, 2, right under where it says ID channel slave, you got drive aid, you got video, you got halt on. Notice mine is set all but disk and key. Okay, if you scroll down to that, I got it highlighted, and hit enter. Yours probably doesn't say that. It probably says on all errors, which is usually what it's defaulted as. Okay, you got some choices here. Halt on no errors, okay, or all errors. So basically all errors mean anything that the motherboard detects wrong, it will not boot the system up. No errors mean if there's any problem at all, it's going to bypass and just keep going anyway. All errors, meaning everything but the keyboard, meaning if it finds that it doesn't have a keyboard plugged in or something wrong in the keyboard, it's going to ignore it and keep going. Diskette, that's for if it doesn't have an A drive, which obviously we don't, and anything but disk and key. So I got it set up for anything but disk and keyboard. Okay, it doesn't really pay attention to the mouse. The mouse is not as important as the keyboard. It'll keep going without a mouse. It will not keep going without a keyboard. So if you had your mouse plugged in and it still wouldn't boot up, that's normal because it's probably set to halt on all errors. So what you would do is you would move that your cursor up and down to select all but disk and key. Then you hit enter to accept it. It brings you back to the very first page. You hit escape this time, or if you want to just save from here, just hit F10. The menu's at the bottom. Yeah, several selection. Enter to select, plus or minus up and down value to change it. F10 to save. Escape to exit without saving. F1 is a help menu, but it's really not necessary at this point. So what I usually do is I do an F10 here, and it'll ask you if you want to save this. Are you sure? Make sure it says Y for yes and hit enter, and it's going to go back and reboot. So it's going to go into this boot sequence now. This time, if you don't have a keyboard plugged in, it'll just bypass that and keep going. Now mine's going to look different from yours because I'm running Windows 7. Also boots up kind of slow because I'm running Windows 7. Windows 7 is a processor hog, but we are running these dual cores, so it runs pretty good. Further along, you can get the centrifuge set up as a shell, which means you will not see this Windows stuff coming up at all. It'll just go straight into centrifuge. But that also means if you have programs running on Windows that you would like to use in a car, you won't be able to get to them if you have centrifuge set up as a shell. If you don't understand, I can explain that to you later. Anyway, like I said, it takes its own sweet time to boot up. Okay, so I got Windows 7 up and running. Actually, I needed to update some drivers, so I'm doing that while I'm going through this with you. I'm running version 8, 15, 10, 19, 30. Now, I'm not sure if you're running 7, XP, or whatever, or Vista, which, God, I hope you're not running Vista. But these are the drivers that I have, so your screens may look slightly different than mine. I'm not sure. But it's the same concept either way it go. And as soon as this is done loading, it's asking me to do something if I pay attention. And it's going to ask me to restart the computer just like always. You know, I remember they said when Vista came or XP came out, you won't have to reboot your computer every time you load a program. Bull. Every time I've loaded something, unless it was a game or something, I've always had to reboot. So anyway, it's going to do a shutdown and restart, and then we'll get going again.